So today we're doing notes number 9, which is adding and subtracting fractions. So, in order for us to add and subtract fractions, we need to deal with everything in the same size piece. So, the number one rule you have to remember with adding and subtracting fractions is that you must have a common, and all we mean by common is the same denominator. Now the nice thing is there's a couple ways to go about doing that, so I'm going to show you a couple really easy ways to do that. So you can have these all on one sheet. I'm going to go from screen to screen so we have a little bit more room, but you write them on one sheet of paper. Okay? So let's do an example. So one method is use equivalent fractions, which you are very good at now. Okay. So this is method number 1. So let's say that we have 2/3 plus 4/5. Okay? And I want you to make equivalent fractions for those. So what I mean by that is tell me, and you're going to figure out, the easiest way to do this is to multiply your denominators together. So 3 times 5 is 15. And since we know that's where we're going, then we need to figure out what we multiplied the denominator by, multiply the numerator by the same thing. So to get from 3 to 15, we multiplied by 5. So we're going to multiply the numerator by 5 also, and that gives us 10. And just double check that, 10/15 does reduce to 2/3, so we know we did that right. Let's do that with 4/5. So 5 times 3 gives us 15. So we need to multiply the 4 by 3, and we get 12. Once we have equivalent fractions and they share the same denominator, then all we have to do is just add up the top. We do not add the denominators. The denominator is just going to stay 15. And now we just add the top, and we have 22 over 15. Okay, really easy way to do that. I like the equivalent fractions, especially since it's something that you guys have really perfected and you're pretty good at now. Okay, another great is bow tie method. This is my favorite, actually. It works for addition, it works for subtraction, works for anything. Okay, so we are going to use 4/7 plus 2/3. Okay, so what the bow tie method wants you to do is multiply your denominators together, and then you're going to multiply the diagonals together, and then whatever sign this is, you're going to bring up to the top. So in this case, we're adding. And so let me take the arrows out of that. Oh, it's not going to let me. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is multiply across the bottom. 3 times 7 is 21. Already halfway done. Now we're going to multiply on the diagonals. So 4 times 3 is 12. We're adding in this case. 7 times 2 is 14. So 12 plus 14 is 26. And you're done. Super easy. I love bow tie method. You don't really have to write anything extra. You don't have to rewrite your original fractions. It's pretty easy. Also works for subtraction. So let's do 5/9 minus, so let's see what, 2/11. There we go. So what I usually have you do is bring your sign up. My dog is currently licking my hand right now. Sorry about that. Okay, so this case we're going to subtract. So I just pull that subtraction right up there. Then I'm going to multiply across the bottom. So that gives me 9 times 11 is 99. And then I'm going to multiply on the diagonals. So 5 times 11 is 55. 9 times 2 is 18. And then I'm just going to subtract exactly what's in front of me. 55 minus 18 is 37. And you're done. It's really a great method for adding and subtracting fractions. All right, last thing, we need to have more than 2 fractions to add together. More than 2 fractions. Okay? So, you can use bow tie method, but you're going to kind of use the what do you have and what do you need? Okay? So, scoop that up a bit. Okay, so let's say we've got 1/3 plus 2/5 plus 3/7. Okay? So, anytime we want to find a common denominator, the easiest way to do that is to multiply our denominators together. Okay? So you can actually turn this into one fraction. And the way we're going to do that is every denominator needs to exist in our common denominator. So we're going to make one big fraction that is 3 times 5 times 7. Okay? And we'll simplify this all in a minute. And we know we're adding, so we'll just kind of set it up that way. So every fraction needs to include all 3 of these denominators. So what you're really asking yourself is, which one do you have and which ones do you need? So for the first fraction, I have a 3 in the denominator, which I have, but I also need a 5 and a 7. So I'm missing a 5 and a 7. So that's what I'm going to multiply that numerator by. So 1 times 5 is 5, times 7 is 35. Okay? For the 5, I have a 5, I'm missing the 3 and the 7. So I'm going to multiply the 2 by 3 and by 7. So 2 times 3 is 6, times 7 is 42. And for the last one, I have a 7, I'm missing the 3 and the 5. So I multiply by 3 and by 5. 3 times 3 is 9, times 5 is 45. So now I've got it completely set up. Now all I have to do is simplify all of that down. So let's kind of move this up and out of our way a little bit. Okay. So now I just need to multiply together 3 times 5 times 7. So that's going to be 35 times 3, which is 105. And then I just need to add up what I have on the top. So I've got 45 and 42 is 87. 87 plus 5 is 92. Plus another 30 is 122. And you can leave things in improper fraction form. That's completely fine for now. You know what? I think that's only 1. I think I did not add that up correctly in my head. Let's try that again. 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 2 is 12. Add 1 up there. Oh, I was okay. And I was right. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11, plus 1 more is 12. So I was right. So it's 122 over 105. And that's it. Everything you needed to know to add and subtract fractions. Thanks.